Hey guys, it's Eclipse, and in today's video, I am going to be showing you guys how you can get your creation featured in DirectingPete's Mini Battle Royale. Now, in Season 3, you can see in the trailer from the background gameplay right now, I guess you could consider it gameplay, but he just dropped his Season 3 map in Fortnite Creative Mode, and it is awesome. But we're not going to be reviewing the map this video, we are actually talking about how you can get your creation featured on his mini block. Now, Pete is a really talented creator, and he had this awesome idea to make a mini block in his map. So pretty much what that is he will be taking creations from you guys and putting them into his Battle Royale from a 7x7 scale on his block. Now, it is a location on his map, and it is currently blank, so potentially you could get featured by watching this video. So, we are going to be doing a breakdown of what happens when you get featured and how you can get featured. So without further ado, let's get in what happens when you do get featured on his block. Okay, so on his Discord server, he has a tab called Mini Block Rules, and I currently have that pulled up on my phone right now, and I will read out one by one what the rules are and how you can follow them in the best way to get featured. So, going down his list, the first tab he has is Design. Now, he says that your design should be using a 7x7 square, which means using the grid island or the block is the best. Now, what this means is your block must be 7 long and 7 wide, and it's a 2D shape of ground. Easy, just pretty easy. There's nothing really complicated about that. You just have to have a 7x7 grid set up so you can make your block off that. Now, his next rule, which a lot of people have been getting confused about, he told me, is that you can only place buildings within a 6x6 range. So, this is very simple actually. All he means by this is that your buildings can't be on the very outer layer. Now, the reason he is saying this is because he wants people to be able to build up to the block easily. And if there's buildings there, they might not be able to break up easily, or not break up, build up easily. So, having scenery on the outside is very useful for gameplay. His next rule that you have is, you may only have 100 pieces total. This is due to the fact that you could only copy 100 pieces over a time. He messed up his chat. At a time is what he means. So, the floor does count as the total count, so do chests and ammo boxes. You do not have to add chests and ammo boxes though, as he will add them for you. And he will add, and it will not count against your 100. Now, I'm not sure if he meant this, but at the time, he actually said you can have 200 pieces total. I'm not sure if this is meant to happen. At the end of this video, or right now, I'll have a disclaimer because I will DM him on Discord about this. But for now, I'm just going to say 100. Prove me wrong right here. I'll give you like a 3-second period. Okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, so moving on to rule number 4. This is pretty simple, no basements. So what it means by this is you cannot have a basement in your map because there will be a barrier at the bottom because you do not want people breaking underneath the block. Very understandable. Number 5 is do not build super high. This is due to the fact that there does not need to be a skyscraper on the island, as he DM'd me and said that exactly himself. So, there does not need to be a skyscraper, words of Pete, and, my suggestion is to have it 7 blocks at the tallest if you really want 8, but I'd, 7 blocks or 8 blocks at the tallest, but I'd still recommend only 5 blocks high, just so you can be safe about it, because there is no specified limit here. Now, rule number 6 is do not build ramps to the block. Now, what he means by this is do not build ramps up for people to get up because they will have to build themselves. And the rule that goes on with this as well is do not build outside of the 7x7 tile range. So all this means is don't build outside the area because then your creation cannot be featured on his block. Rule number 7 is do not use devices that you can't copy. So pretty much what this means is don't use barriers, mutator zones, music sequencers, or anything like that. Any object that's a device that you can place on a build that cannot be copied, you cannot put inside your block creation. If you do, it won't be able to copy, and in my opinion, you shouldn't add devices in the first place because they take up too much memory, and no offense, but no one wants to see your YouTube name pop up every time you enter the block. No offense to anybody who wanted to do that, but just don't. Okay, so that brings us to rule number 8. No unreleased props. No, you might be wondering, what are unreleased props, and weren't they removed in the previous update? Number 1, they were not removed yet, and number 2, he does not want unreleased props, because if they were to get removed in an update, your block creation might be ruined depending on how many you use, and they are 20 memory each no matter what. Which is a lot of memory if you think about it. At the beginning it may seem good, but having 20 memory every single time you place a small item that hasn't been released yet adds up. Now, rule number 9 is do not use prefabs. Now, don't get prefabs confused with galleries. Yes, you can use galleries and take the props out of them, but do not place pre-built buildings on your block. The block is meant for custom creations only and should not use pre-built builds because it does not display any skill, or just don't. Like, there's no point in adding prefabs. It just ruins the creation and shows that you can't build anything for yourself. Don't do that in a defensive way. I'm not saying you can't if you tried to add prefabs, just putting that out there. Putting prefabs and trying to submit might give Pete the wrong impression. I'm not sure. Okay, so the next tab we have here is memory. Now, your map can be 4,000 memory if you use majority pieces that aren't in his map. So what this means is props that are in his map take up less memory, but new props will take up more memory than usual. So you can only use 4,000 memory if you have used no props that are in his map. Now, you can use about 6,000 memory if you use half the props in his map and half the props not in his map. And you can use 10k memory if you only use materials that you've seen in Pete's Battle Royale map. Now, moving on to our next tab, which is submission. Choose one of the 4 ways to submit. Submit on his Discord channel, which is mini block submissions tab. Pretty simple. I will leave the link to his Discord down below. Submit it on YouTube. Post your video with hashtag DirectingPete's mini block. So that's another way you can do it if you don't have Discord. You can post it on Instagram and tag Pete using hashtag DirectingPete's mini block, and he will be hosting streams showing people, not showing people, but rather, how do I phrase this? Going into people's maps and seeing their mini block. Still have questions, feel free to ask in his Discord server. One of the mods or himself will help you answer them. Now that is the end of the mini block rules, but now I am going to be telling you what happens when you do get featured in his map. So, when you do get featured in his map, I'll replay some of the trailer that not that I forgot, but I played before, just didn't keep it running because that'd be boring. But I will replay some of this trailer right here, and you can see that it shows your name here on it, or I'm not sure if it shows that or not, but in-game it does. So it will say your name here, and what that means is your name will be written on the sides of the block, and your name will be written on the name of the POI. So what that means is you will have your name written on the side of the block, and your name will be on the name. That sounds repeated, but it wasn't. So what I mean by the name is that it is currently called the mini block, since no one is featured at the time recording this, but it will say, for example, Eclipse's mini block, or DirectingPete's mini block, or just DirectingPete's block, or Eclipse's block. I'm not sure how that will work yet, haven't gotten contact about that yet, but it will say your name on the POI name and all around the block, and just that way you do get some recognition there. So, yeah, that is what happened when you will get featured. If you're in his Discord server, you'll also get the creative competition role, which makes your name light green in case you're wondering, and you will also get a badge that shows that you won part of the mini block. Now, I will say this because Pete gave me this advice from himself, personally. Now, he wanted me to tell you that you shouldn't rush your build. And I'm going to actually open up my DMs to him and read this exactly. Okay, so let me go up here. Here we are. So he says, take time on your builds and don't rush. Being first doesn't mean you'll win. I'm looking for quality content that somebody put thought into. So what he's saying is don't rush your builds, take your time. If you're not featured in the first week, it's okay. You might be featured sometime soon. The game isn't about rushing, it's about patience and quality building. Now, that is pretty much all for today's video. That is the rules and how you can get featured in his block. If you want, you can stay on for a few tips that I personally have, but it's not the rules or what happens. But if you want, this is the part where I actually give you some tips. So, some tips that I have are: 1, don't use prefabs, or don't use galleries. I switched them up. Don't use pieces. Yeah, don't use props or pieces that are higher than 500 memory, because if you don't plan on using it more than once, it is a high waste of memory. And if it's not on his map, you only have 4,000 memory to work with, so that takes up, like, I'm gonna say about 1/6 of the percent, because I'm not trying to do math right now, it's my weekend, but it takes up a decent chunk of your memory. So I wouldn't do that, but you can if you want to, as long as you plan on using it more than once. Now, another tip I'd have is just pay attention to the rules, and like he said, do not rush your builds. Put thought and time into it, because rushing your builds won't do anything but make the build worse and not get picked. He's not looking about who responds first, he's looking about the quality and whose is the best. So, one last tip I'll give is be active in a server and get to know him. He is not biased in any way, and I can confirm this, but getting to know him means that you can ask questions that you have, and you can be playing his videos and playing on live streams and seeing what other people have built in Pete's block in the live stream and just discussing with him, and getting to know him is a really good move. He's a super nice guy, and I just personally think that you should try to get in contact. But anyways, that is the end of today's video. Hopefully I helped you get into Pete's block. If you got featured from this video, or you got featured and you watched this video, not giving me all the credit here, go ahead and put it in the comment section. And if not, feel free to comment whatever you want, like the video, subscribe if you made it this far, and have a nice day. Notifications would be appreciated, and thank you all for 300 subscribers. I just hit 302 subscribers today, and I am super happy where I've come. And I want to thank all of you for helping me get to this. I want to thank all of you for getting us to this. This is a group working, and I'm just so happy to say that our community has grown so much in the past year. But, yeah, so I will see you all in the next video. Code to his map, YouTube link, trailer link, Discord, all of that jazz in the description below. And have an amazing day. See ya.